Hey guys, today I'll show you how I bright up the night with light, the lazy way. So to understand light, first we must create an object on which light will fall and make us see the darn thing. We won't be able to see anything if light didn't fall on stuff and reflect from their surface to our eyes. You know, basic physics stuff. Hence, I drew a tree. So first I drew the outline and then filled the color with the bucket tool. I'm just drawing something easy here. Adding some ground below seemed like a good idea to me. So I did. Then I remember how I used to draw trees when I was 5 and proceeded to draw the leaves in exactly the same way on a different layer. You can say it's just a green cloud. I also added a blue cloud below as leaves on the other side of the trunk that are too emo to be in the light. After that, did some lazy detailing on a clipped layer above the trunk layer. My main objective here was to keep the tree coloring as neutral as possible so that I can add different light and shadows separately without changing the tree's original color combination. The shades I used on the detailing layer were basic. I imagined how the tree would look like when the sun is above the head. Well, that's my interpretation of a tree under neutral light. Because I did such a splendid job with the trunk detailing, I could not let the leaves hang around like a loser green cloud. So I decided to draw just one group of leaves, shaded them with 3 different greens because I'm fancy, and then copy-pasted the heck out of them to fill the void of the green cloud. Now while copy-pasting the leaf bunch, I changed the size each time so that nobody notices that it's a copy-paste job. Brilliant plan. Try it sometimes. Once I was done with the greens, I turned towards the blues. Well, for the emo bunch, I went even more lazy and drew just one leaf. Colored it with 3 different blues because you can be both fancy and lazy at the same time. And then I copied that leaf and pasted in different angles to create a bush. Armed with a blue leaf cluster, I made a whole lot of other clusters and pasted them side by side on a layer below the trunk layer. Once satisfied with the amount of lush, I added some texture to the ground. Now I used my basic custom brush, but you can use any brush you want to add some spice in the otherwise bland looking ground. Try to find some texture brush that goes well with the ground and use it. If nothing works, add some grass. We need to create a source of light if we want to have some light action in the image. You can always have an external light source out of the frame, but where's the drama in that? So I made a fancy lantern because I'm fancy, remember? Even though I added some elements of light as its base color because it's lit, I didn't add any additional light effects at this stage. After everything is done, I arranged all the different layers in a folder named folder. I kept the trunk layer and 2 leaves layers, green and blue. Besides that, I kept the lantern in separate layers. Now is the fun part of creating the night. I filled a layer with dark blue color, duplicated it and dragged one of the layers below the tree folder, also known as the folder. Then I changed the top blue layer's blending mode to overlay and reduced the opacity. The amount of opacity depends on how you want the image to look. On a new overlay layer, use lighter color to airbrush around the light area. We can see brighter and better in areas where light is falling directly. Used a bit of blur effect to create a soft lighting. You can already see the difference between low light and high light areas. If you want to brighten the light source further, you can add another layer in color dodge mode and go bananas on it. Maybe not too bananas, just lower the opacity of the brush so that you can have some control over the intensity of the light. I added light just at the edge of the green part of the leaves because the light is not powerful enough to go beyond that. It also helped me to show the contrast. Now my lantern's outline was in a separate layer, so I selected opacity in that layer. Went back to the colored dodge light layer and selected clear layer option to erase lights from the dark outline. This is a useless step you may or may not like to do. You can just simply add the light aura in a layer below the lantern layer. That will work as well. I was not satisfied with the light, so I added another layer of color with the same color dodge blending mode and blurred it. Of course, reduced the opacity. I'm not that insane. Once I was done with my primary light source, I decided to add a secondary one on the tree. So I clipped a layer with color dodge blending mode on top of the tree folder and added a light blue color. Reduced the opacity and blurred it a bit. Think of this color as the moonlight or starlight or that magic light that comes out of trees in the forest at night. You think trees don't emit magic lights? Oh, then you haven't been to the right forest. Anyways, this secondary light source should not be as powerful as the primary one. I also added some darker shades on a layer with darken layer blending mode to create some depth and drama. Mostly drama. If you think the intensity is too much for you, then reduce the opacity and use Gaussian blur. I also tried a bit of acrobatic mesh transform. You can try that as well to set the colors well with each other. This is why I keep them in separate layers. If all else fails to satisfy you, then use a low opacity eraser. At this point, I noticed the background is quite dull. I added a little bit of lighter color shade with an airbrush so that we all can pretend that the background is a happening place. Then I did something completely unnecessary. I added some glitter to the light. I know, lights in real life do not spray glitter like that all around. But it was fun. If you know any type of light that does spray glitter like that, then let me know in the comment section. Well, that's about it. I hope it was helpful in some ways. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with other dum-dums. Thanks for watching. Bye!